Hey everybody, I'm here with Cody Cook-Parrott, and we're talking about the funnest thing ever, email marketing. Cody, I found you years ago, mostly probably from one of your posts about leaving Instagram, which
Mm,
I'm a big fan
yeah.
of both the post and leaving Instagram. And one of the things that struck me, like it was an old interview, and it was like you had 80,000 followers and 300 people liked your stuff. And it was like, yes, that's what I see. Because I work in the
Yeah.
music world and it's like all these big music outlets or bands and they have a gajillion followers and like 500 likes. And I
Yeah.
always did the math. I pulled out the calculator. I'm like, wow, 0.48% of your audience liked your thing. We should do email
Yeah.
lists.
Yeah. I am using Instagram right now, and I posted the other day, and 27 people liked my post. Which,
27.
and I like to say, what a gift, those 27 people found it. But it's often like, especially on Instagram, it's like they're my peers a lot of the times. It's like
Mhm.
out of those 27, half of those are like my friends just being nice and liking my post. I'm like, this is embarrassing at this point. It feels embarrassing to use it, if I'm
Yeah.
honest.
Well, also that you just give Meta money to boost your
Yes.
post and get it out there.
Yeah.
Supposedly it goes to your followers, but probably not. It probably goes to a bunch of strangers then when you boost it.
Exactly.
So that then, and even before that though, you've been doing newsletters, right?
I have had a newsletter since December 12th, 2012.
2012.
No, 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 December
Oh,
22nd. That was the
oh,
day. 12/22/12. I
oh,
looked recently because I was
okay.
like, when did I send my first newsletter? And yes, it was December 22nd, 2012 to announce a holiday market I was doing in the shop that I created in a vintage camper.
That's so great. That's so great. And can I ask about how many people that went out to?
It went out to 70,
Okay,
and I think 42 opened it. Or
great.
maybe it went out to, yeah, great open rate. And as far as I remember, the holiday market was a smash success. So
Yeah. That's great. That's so cool. And so you started using MailChimp with that, right? Okay.
yep. And I
Did
used MailChimp to until 2021.
okay. Did you and the crux of
Oh,
our
you know what,
conversation?
Seth?
What?
The dog is gonna bark, I think.
Okay.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not.
All right. His,
She's like,
her head's perked
she's
up. Yeah.
thinking.
He's
Okay,
thinking it.
maybe not. It sounded like a delivery person was here,
Okay.
but
Okay.
oh,
Oh, I saw that. I heard that.
sorry.
Oh,
Anyways, carry on.
it's wonderful. Did you do any because we're talking about segments for this segment video. Did you do segmenting with MailChimp back then?
Hold on, hold on.
Oh, I see.
If we also have to start, or you know what? Maybe I don't
I
want you
can
to have
edit
to.
it out. I can,
Okay, can you? Okay,
yeah,
I
I can
didn't know
slice
how
it out.
much editing you do. Hold on, let me just see.
That's
Not
fine.
and see if Jim. Girl, there's nobody there. Nobody there. I know.
Oh,
I know. She's so sweet. She protects us.
very, yeah,
Okay,
great.
okay. Go ahead, ask again. Okay.
So you started out with MailChimp. Did you ever do segmenting with MailChimp
No,
back in the day?
nope.
Oh,
I used no sorry, June's really distracting me. Can you lay down? I know. Mommy's on a professional call. I know. You can keep
talking
that.
big business here. Yeah.
Okay. I never used a single feature of MailChimp in the 8 years that I used it.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Actually, that's not entirely true. I did have a virtual assistant who we used the function where you could send, and I wish you could do this on Flodesk. I don't think you can, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's like with MailChimp, you could send an email to the people who had clicked a link. So,
Mm,
like, let's say I was promoting a class and then a bunch of people clicked the link for that class. I could
mhm.
then send an email really easily to just those people who had clicked the link.
Yeah.
And that was a feature I enjoyed using, but we didn't really use the segmenting feature
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
MailChimp.
No, yeah, that's an amazing thing. Yeah, I do. I think I remember that, and like how obviously useful that would be to find people and build a segment around that or whatever, or just send directly or resend directly to them.
Yeah.
So that goes into the whole segmenting thing, right? I mean, like people that click on the thing that you're talking about, they're obviously interested in it. Maybe they bought from you in the past. Like, so that's how's your journey been of discovering of like maybe I should do segments?
Yeah, I will just say for anyone who has a business, I or is an artist and makes money, whatever, however you identify, I love the segments in Flodesk. And the way I started using them was in my business I use Zapier
Mm,
or I actually don't exactly know how to say it. I
I
think
don't
it's
think anyone
Zapier.
does. Yeah.
Okay, great. And the the way we have it set up, I say we, my amazing virtual assistant Hannah, who makes digital things make a lot more sense, is when someone signs up for my class through Thrivecart, it automatically adds them to a segment that we've made in Flowdesk for that class. So then that way I can really easily message everyone in the class through that, as well as if I'm promoting a new class, they are in like that segment anyways. And then the other way I use segments is for lead magnets, which I only started making last year. And I've always been sort of anti-lead magnets. Like I've been sort of like, people will just sign up for your newsletter alone. And I have found them to be like a great creative practice for me and really fun to make. And so a lot of times I'll work backwards. Like if I'm teaching a class, I'll think like, what's a free resource I can make that would lead people to this class? And so then when they download the lead magnet, it adds them to a segment. So like in my podcast, people listen and download the creative ideation portal. It adds them to that segment in the Flowdesk list. And then I can just, if I have something that I'm like, I don't need to email this to everybody on my Substack list or even everybody on my Flowdesk list. I just want to email it to the people who've downloaded this lead magnet. It's a really nice way to just send to a smaller group of people
Yeah. And send less emails.
and send less emails.
We,
Yeah.
we know we all get enough emails. So
Yeah.
can I just, because I can imagine a lot of people, I was on your email marketing course a
Yeah.
while back, and a lot of the stuff that you were saying, this, that, yeah, and like, but I couldn't help but think of people that don't do any of this ever are just like,
Mhm.
whoa, wait a second, this and that. What do you think is the best way for someone to like just dip their toe into any of this? Because it's hard to just be like, oh, sign up for Flowdesk and like, what do you think is like a first or second step that someone could take?
Yeah, I love that question. And when I'm working with one-on-one with people, this is a the most common question. And
Oh,
so
wow.
one that I'm really asking myself a lot because people are usually, I mean, the big question is like, do I have a newsletter and host it on Substack or one of the 800 other things? And
Sure.
so I'm always trying to help people pick the right one. What's amazing about Substack is that it's free. So if you wanted to send a newsletter, just a free newsletter to 100,000 people, it doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
They're only making money if you're charging money. So sometimes and it's tricky because MailChimp is the same, that it's free, I believe, for the up to 2,000 subscribers.
Hmm.
And so there's a lot of options that are free. But if someone doesn't want to make money from their newsletter, I usually tell them to just buy Flowdesk and find somebody who has there's so many I mean, I have a referral code, maybe you have a referral code. Like there's so many ways to not pay full price for Flowdesk. I also want to say that. But I think it's just so intuitive. It's so easy to make nice looking emails. It's worth the cost to me. So, well, my first step is to start collecting emails. So I don't care where you do that, really.
Mm.
Like if you do, and because that's the thing is like you own your email list. So you can move it at any time. And I also try to remind people that like, when I've looked at the stats, I think 97% of the people who read my emails read it in their inbox still.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
they don't even know, they might not even know what Substack is. They're
they
like,
don't.
why are you
Right.
even telling me about that? Like, we just read your newsletter just like we did. There's a handful of readers who got that first email in 2012, who are still reading today, 12 years later. And they don't know the difference if it came from MailChimp, Flodesk, or Substack. So I try to also remind people of that is like just pick whatever is feeling most intuitive and good to you. And I should pause to say like as much as I'm like, if you don't want to make money off your newsletter, don't do Substack. But plenty of people love Substack and don't have paid subscriptions turned on and just love the community and the reality is it is a platform. Um, and you can find other people on a platform.
Absolutely.
Which is like, I mean, this is a great example of like you took my class and were one of my students, but I really found your work because Notes was showing it to me on Substack and was like, oh,
Yeah.
Seth, he took my class and
Yeah.
is writing really cool stuff. So, it's like
Cool.
um, that is an example of how Substack, especially if you're not using social media,
Hmm.
can bring you to other writers, thinkers, and newsletter
I mean,
creators. So,
back when Substack rolled out recommendations, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then like a friend of mine that runs a pretty big newsletter started recommending me. And then my like subscriber, like it was like, what the heck? And
yeah.
to this day, I mean, that was like 2 years ago, and I still get stuff from that. And like recommendations on there is
Yeah.
yeah, Substack as a platform can really, and all the point too of like of oh, it's a platform, it can get weird, it can do that. Well, yeah, then you export your email list and go somewhere else.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
like there's a lot of that talk of like, oh, Substack's social media now, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, yeah, but I'm building an email list. And
Yeah.
like if it burns down tomorrow, like
I
I have an
have
email list that
notes.
can last me, however
Yep.
many years in the future. So
Yep. Yep. I'm with you.
I like your point too of like that no one knows they're reading a Substack newsletter probably in their inbox, just
Yeah.
as a MailChimp. Like I've seen so many people that were like, oh, I had 250 people on my MailChimp email list, but I'm starting over here on Substack from zero. I don't want to. I'm like, no, just
Yeah. No, move the
bring
list.
bring
Move
that.
the
Well, I
list.
want people to start. It's like no one knows. Just and
Yeah.
I
No knows.
no one knows. And so to your point though too, because we're talking now about okay, I have this Substack email list I send to people. Now I'm also some of these emails are now in the segmenting in Flodesk, and I've
Hmm.
heard some people say like, oh, well, no one signed up for Flodesk. They didn't, but it's like no, people gave you permission to email them. You're just continuing to email them, right? Like, have you ever heard feedback or the negative part of like, oh, you're adding someone like against their will or something like that?
No, and I
Good.
have I do have it like written almost everywhere. Like when you sign up for a class, you will be added to an email list. Like, and then it says like when people download and I just added this recently, but let me try to think of the order of events. So when someone downloads a lead magnet, when they get the email, it will with the link to the lead magnet, it will say at the bottom like there's a class coming up. You will get a few more emails this week. If you do not want them, click unsubscribe. This does not unsubscribe you from Monday, my main newsletter.
Mm,
So I do have that on there
yeah.
because I do think some people are tapped in enough to be like, I don't want I like respect if they're like, I just wanted the free guide to the tools you're using to take notes. I'm like, go for it.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to get emails they don't want. So I try to have a lot of like clear language about like, if you unsubscribe from this, you will not um unsubscribe from Monday, my
Yeah.
Substack newsletter. So yeah, I try to keep that clear.
Yeah.
But no, I've never had someone be like, I mean, I get people who email me. I had someone email me recently. I think they were talking about Substack, but they were just like, Dear Cody, you send way too many emails and I can't figure out how to unsubscribe. I'm just like, oh my God. So, pe people can't figure out how to click settings, I guess, sometimes, but
Right.
only God can help them.
Or filter an email in Gmail. Gmail makes it
Yeah,
so easy.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you recently wrote in the email that you sent out a few days ago, you decided to use Flodesk email list made up of people who have downloaded one of my free guides or taken my classes. And that's
Yep.
the power, because I think you've written before that when you announce something to your main list, it's not
Mhm.
like, wow, all these people, but like when you send to the smaller list, the segmented list, when you announce something, there's more, like there could be more
Oh yeah.
that happens there, which I'm always trying to stress that, like, if you have a thing that's coming out, you or anyone else, if you just announce it in your newsletter once, you have to keep announcing it. Just like on Substack
Yes.
notes, you have to keep
Yes.
announcing it. Like you have to,
Yes.
like, 3 times in a newsletter, like, because someone's not going to open that one 2 weeks ago because they had to get their oil changed or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and everyone's so afraid of repeating themselves because they don't want to be like
Yeah.
looked at as too salesy. But it's almost too, like, if you don't talk about your work, no one's going to know about it. So
Yeah, it's really, I mean, I think it was last year I wrote a newsletter that was just called I Am Annoying. And it was sort of about this of like I was talking to like a business mentor and I was like, I'm so scared that I'm so annoying. And she was like, you are kind of annoying. And I was like, what? And she was just kind of like, maybe just embrace that like it's going to annoy some people that you send X amount of emails or do X amount of things or whatever. And it's okay. Those people will delete the email or not open the email. I like to think of like, there's a few like marketing girly podcasts that I subscribe to or listen to that are like really into like email marketing and they'll send 5 emails a day sometimes. I mean, it's like they're in that sort of like funnel business world that
automations.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm not like pissed at them when they send that many emails. I'm just like, girlies are doing their jobs, I guess, today.
Get it. Get it.
And I just don't open them if I don't want them. So I try to remember that my readers are able to do the same. They can decide what they want to open and what they don't want to open. And um, yeah, so I try like the last time I taught shapes of our offerings, I just to the Flodesk list anyone who had downloaded the lead magnet for that class. I mean, I think I sent an email every single day leading up to class. So I sent like 5 emails that week and it worked every time. And people said they were like, and I try to put a lot, this is something I learned from Michelle Pelizan Lipsitz from Holisticism was like, I try to put a lot of value in every one of those emails. And that's the sort of like generosity that I try to think about in running my business is like, okay, yes, this is a marketing email and I'm trying to get you to take my class. And I hope that if you don't sign up for class, this is still a really helpful email. And it inspires you in your business in some way. So I try to not just send stuff that's like, sign up for my class, but that offers a little bit of knowledge or inspiration to people who are
Absolutely.
reading it.
Yeah, that's coming from the music world. Music world loves to just post like,
Yeah.
this is what our vinyl looks like, and here's a buy now button. Send.
Yes, I've seen you write about this before that it's like you can't just say like listen to my new song. You have to tell a story.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what people are scared about because it's vulnerable.
Hmm.
Especially when we're used to Instagram, it's like we tell a story and then 5 people see it and we're like, all right, well,
Yeah, it's
very
like
many
we never
people.
had problems writing a 300 word caption,
No.
but but now when we have to write an email, it's like, no, here, this is just business, just business.
Yeah, that's really fascinating.
It's a
Yeah.
bummer because I've
Yeah.
seen some bands that write like I forget the name of the band, which doesn't do them credit right now, but this is a Zoom call. I can't remember
Yeah, it's
all
okay.
that.
Yeah.
But they wrote it like, hey, we're on tour. I'm sitting on the floor right now of the venue writing this email and blah blah blah. And that was the whole like that was the text at the top. There was no
Yeah.
like tour poster or anything like that. It was
Yeah.
just a solid paragraph of like this happened, that happened. And I
Yeah.
always think too of like as a musician, as artists, we have the coolest stories to tell. We have nothing but stories, and like
Mm,
we should just keep
yeah.
telling them. And
Yeah.
then, yes, there's a thing for sale at the bottom. Fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to
Yeah.
sell
Yeah.
tickets to their upcoming shows, of course. But like
Totally.
when you are a human and like it's
Mhm.
not just written by Chat GPT or something someone else could write, like because I see that a lot too. Like a lot of artists, a lot of bands will be like, "Hey, we're really excited to be out on tour. Can't wait to see you." Like, yeah, the person putting together that email campaign wrote that and just got
Yeah.
approval from management. Like,
Right.
easy. It's so safe and plain. So,
Yeah.
yeah, adding the value before you always just add, like it makes it so less
Mm.
sales like. So,
Yeah, I think that is, and that's why I say marketing is a creative practice because I really feel like you can be creative in the way that you sell, but um yeah, we do have to sell. That is part of how it works. So
yeah, yeah, it's amazing how little the amount of work that goes into the creativity, and then it's so easy to just stop it once we have to talk about it
yeah,
because we want to bother anyone. But
yeah,
if we bother just a little bit and we bother creatively, it can help pay our
yeah.
rent or our phone bill or
Yes,
groceries or something.
yes,
So
yes, yes. Creative bothering.
creative
That's the
bothering.
yeah,
There it
creative
is. Yeah.
bothering. There it is. There it is. We got there.
Awesome. Well,
Exactly.
do you have any closing thoughts on for anyone that might be on the tipping
Yeah,
point of maybe doing an
th
email list or creativity or
I think something I really try to stress is like the only reason my business has lasted or done as well as it has is because of an email list. Because Instagram changed so intensely how it worked. I mean, when in 2014, when I maybe had 20,000 followers or something, 600 people saw every single grid post. It was like that was just the norm. And I could sell out a class in 2 seconds, use it with one grid post. That's just how it worked. And it does not work that way anymore for me, at least. And yeah, so I definitely think having an email list is just a smart business plan. So
and to your point, you mentioned it earlier. Just start collecting emails. Just
yeah.
start.
I mean, my first thing was at Have Company, my shop. I had a clipboard with a piece of paper that sat on the front counter and people would handwrite
Yeah.
it on there. And so, yeah, I mean, that's a big one for musicians. Like if you have a merch table, have a clipboard with a piece of paper out. Like
Hmm.
of course, or like a QR code or whatever, but like get
Yep.
people on, collect those email addresses like anywhere you can. So don't, even though things are automated now, like don't forget, I'm packing up orders of my new books right now, and I
Yeah.
made these little inserts that say
Ooh,
like,
nice.
I wrote this in landscapes and here's my next class and here's my website, so I'm always thinking about like marketing like the every not to be like every opportunity is an opportunity to market but it's like as I'm shipping out all these books I'm like I have an opportunity to remind people to subscribe to my newsletter or take my writing class or sign up for
Yep.
my writing group. So yeah, I feel like don't be afraid to get creative with your marketing and start an email list and the end. And subscribe to Seth's newsletter and to mine. Those are your other
Absolutely. I
to-dos
will
today.
include it. No, I appreciate that. And the final thing on that too, like you write books, you have a huge email list, all that,
Oh,
you do these courses, And
Yes.
and you're putting together that thing that goes in a book because there's still people that bought your book that have probably never taken a course.
Totally. Yes. Or who didn't, who saw the post about the book but didn't see the post about my writing group.
Right.
And then they're going to get the book and get the piece of paper and be like, "Oh, Cody has a writing group?" Like, yeah, exactly.
No one
So
can know it all.
no
They
one can
can't.
know it all.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cody, thank you so much. This has been a blast. It was great catching up with you and
Thanks,
talking for
Seth. You
real for
too.
the
Yeah,
first time.
I know.
Thanks for
It's
doing
so
this.
nice to talk for real.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna get back to
Yes.
messaging ShipStation.
Do it. Take care of that. Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Seth.